Well, thank you so much for joining me for the second ever live stream with the Meet the Founders series. I'm really glad that they've come on board. I guess I'll just do a quick intro. My name's Chris. I'm from AppSumo, and we've got a very fantastic founder joining us this week to demo, to answer your questions, and to support you on your AppSumo journey. So, uh, please introduce yourself, Sebastian, and then just briefly, and we can go a little bit into Alphana, why you created it, and then answer some questions as we go along as well.
Beautiful. Well, it's great to be here. Thanks for everyone that's joining, and thank you, Chris, and the AppSumo team for inviting me on. I've always been an entrepreneur for as long as I can remember. I started out in the music biz, working at a record label, doing like marketing, digital, in product development. And so it was cool to experience and work with a lot of artists, creators, a lot of different businesses in that area. But I ultimately left Universal Music to start up another company, and I've actually started three. So in that time frame. So one was a digital agency. We ran that for about 10 years, and we also had a SaaS marketing platform, but it was towards the real estate sector and a gamification platform that gamified experiences to be able to spin up a rewards program, loyalty, earn points, and so many other mechanisms. And so it's been a good journey throughout that entire time, just being able to do that. That's kind of a little bit about my background, and I'm based in Miami, Florida. It's a beautiful city. It's really hot right now during the summer, but you can't help seeing beautiful blue skies and all that. So I love it here. But if anybody comes out, just ping me online, and great to meet up.
Awesome. We have people all around the world tuning in. So I think last time we had people, I think we may have had some people in Miami, but I'm in the UK and I'm sweating as well. Maybe it's the live stream technical issues before, or
uh,
the sun is shining in the UK as well. So thanks for
it's hot.
everybody who's tuned in, and thanks again, Sebastian, for joining and doing this demo with us. But what after we've got solo entrepreneurs, we've got entrepreneurs, content creators in the community, and that buy on AppSumo. Uh, from your experience of running these companies, uh, why did you then decide to build Alphana?
Yeah. I remember AppSumo when I was at an agency. We would use it to be able to buy, tools or anything that we needed in the past. And it was years ago. So it was good to see. But meeting with so many different creators and artists and even founders in this space, I kind of treat, if you're creating something, you're a creator in my eyes, right? You're building a company, you're building a product, you're building content for social media, or you're at a company and you're responsible for that area. You're there to create. And I've met and spoken to hundreds, if not thousands of people just over the years. And the thing that's consistent and what I see with all is they a lot don't understand what to create or when to create, what media outlet to be able to post their content on. And not only that, but it's like, how much do you need to create? Three times a day. Is it Gary Vee where you do like 87 posts per day, for the month, and you're in the thousands at that point? And it's like, what I've seen is it's overwhelming. Right. And even for me as a founder and other founders that I've met with, it is overwhelming. Why? Because if you think about what your core business is and what you're doing, right, you're probably not in the nature of like creating content to post online, right? And that entire workflow that goes in it. But it's you need to do it. It's a must, right? If not, it's really hard for you to be successful. You're just going to be kind of going against the grain. And so, when we thought about, me and my co-founder, Elizabeth, when we thought about Alphana, we're like, how do we help everyone? How do we help those who are trying to get their business off the ground, where they already have a laundry list of things to do, but now they got to go focus in this area, but help them to do it in a more economical way and just be able to streamline those workflows. And so the way we see it is that let creators, let founders, let musicians and artists focus on their craft, right? While Alphana can help do the rest. And that's our vision ultimately for Alphana, is to make it autonomous for them so that it can help them drive the results that they need for their business. Or if they're a creator and they need that to become their source of income for being an entrepreneur, we want this to be able to help all of the aspects that isn't part of their core.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I've produced live events like this, but with multiple guests and created lots of different pieces of content. But I always come back to the point of, well, what was the end goal and what's the purpose behind it? Because we could create a bunch of content and repurpose it with tools like yours, but I haven't really had a strategy coming into it. So, are there any like strategies that you've seen that are working, and how can Afana help with that?
Yeah, I think, one of the main ones, right? If you're already creating content, most likely what I've seen with most people is they put out their content, but they don't do everything they can to maximize that content. So let's say they do a YouTube video and they put it up on YouTube. When you look at all the other channels, they're not really taking the benefit of it. They might post like, "Hey, I just recorded a new video on," and they put that on like as a post on like X or on Instagram, but they don't take it a little bit further, right? And I think what we don't realize is if you record a video, like for example, a live session like this, or if others are doing webinars and it's an hour long, there's so many different topics that are being discussed, like so many paths that are being switched up. All of those can turn into content pieces. And if you start with your pillars, your main themes of who your audience is and what they need, and now you start creating content under those themes and be able to repurpose something existing that you've already created, but now into multiple forms, it makes it more digestible. Not everyone, video is extremely important, but not everyone would rather watch a video. There's a time and a place for it, right? If you're somewhere where it's really quiet, you don't want to watch video, you might read a quick article. Or what a lot of people don't realize is that half of videos on Instagram is actually watched with sound off, right? That's very important. The other aspect is kind of really, or people in cars, if they're listening to a podcast, they're not going to sit there and watch the video. It's dangerous. I don't recommend it, right? You're going to listen audio only. So if you think about all these different forms of media and the amount of people out there, you want to be able to create content and put it in the position of where they would like to consume it most. So, when we think about your strategy, it's like, well, if I've got this video, well, let's put out a blog post, because you know how many people love to read articles. Let's put together a newsletter that breaks down the key takeaways. And guess what? If they were never going to watch the video, they weren't going to do it. So give them the insights in an email and build up your email list, right? The other part is if you think about like LinkedIn or if you think about X, how you write on those platforms are different than you were in other places, keeping it short, concise, and having a hook. And so you want to be able to take this existing content that was, on a ad lib call like this, you might not have that many hooks throughout, but if you can now repurpose it and now forcefully take what you said and turn it into a hook that can potentially go viral to expand your reach on LinkedIn and on X. I mean, those are all the things that you need to do, because that's going to help you to maximize your reach, because posting content as is isn't going to do it right.
Yeah, yeah, and you just spoke there about hooks. I was there's a lot of creators that do it where they pre-plan micro hooks throughout the video. So if they are doing a podcast or something, they randomly say, "Did you know?" just to get that in, so that when they do get to the point of repurposing it, it's already ready and done. I've seen
Yeah,
some, yeah, but it's part of the pre-planning before the actual event, and then there's the post, which is repurposing.
100%. It's like, why 99% of people fail on social media, right? Like you've got hooks like that you want to be able to leverage and be like, well, why do 99 percent of people fail, right? And then you add the extra and it's like, the answer you'll never believe, or, and it's not because of X, right? And it's like, wait, I thought it was because of X. It's those types of things that get them to continue. Like that's why hooks are so important, right? And you might have the best content in the world, you might have shot the best video in the world where the content is actually has substance, it's something that's educational and that's really going to help the person. But if you put that video on Instagram or TikTok and it doesn't have a strong hook, you've already missed them, because it didn't capture them in the first second or two for them to even continue watching it. And it's like, if you say, hey, if you just watch up to 10 seconds, you'll finally see, or 30 seconds, or if you get 15 minutes into my video, you'll know why it was important. You've lost them already
Yeah.
completely.
So if you stay to the end, in a moment we'll be going into a demo. But if you have questions for Sebastian throughout, and he says something that you want to know more about, now is your chance to ask these questions. And Jordan is behind the scenes; he's going to be pulling them up for you on screen, and I'll take all those questions and get Sebastian to answer them as much as possible. So please keep doing it. Please tell us where you're tuning in from as well. And thanks everybody for joining us on YouTube. And we're also going to be using the recording from this live stream. We're going to be putting it into Alphana. I'll do a demo video of how I'm doing that for you inside the source. So watch out for the replay, and then watch out for how I am using Alphana to repurpose AppSumo content inside the source. So that's going to be a really cool experiment, and I'd love to get your feedback on that when it's ready. But with Alphana, I know we've kind of covered broadly marketing strategies and why you created Alphana. But what is Alphana?
Yeah, so Alphana today is an AI content manager that helps you to turn any video, audio, or podcast into over 30 pieces of content. And for the most part, we do that in like less than 2 minutes. We see it as a way to be able to automate a lot of the workflows that creators do on a day-to-day, right? So if you already have that piece of content, you shot it, you recorded it, let's think about all the aspects that you want to create. And something that we've made hopefully very turnkey is this ability to be able to add AI cards to the screen, because then it allows you to be able to customize your entire workflow. So I think the best way would be to show you. I don't know if we want to dive into demo, but I could walk you through a little bit of how this works. And then from there, I'm sure we'll get a ton of questions on it.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so if you share your screen there, I'll bring it up and we can do the demo. And then if questions come in, we can get those answered immediately. So
just let me know when that appears for everyone.
Here it is.
Awesome. So what you're seeing here is my dashboard, right? So when you get into Alphana, you might only have like 2 or 3 test videos. I'm showing you an account now that has a lot of content. I'm a very big user of Alphana. I generate a ton, and as you can see from the wealth of content. So, the biggest thing I say to start with is to be able to create something new, and you could just tap on up here. And this is where a lot of things get started. And so, like I said, we could take any video, like for example, a YouTube video, and we will actually pull that YouTube video so that we can transcribe it, analyze it to be able to generate content off of it. And so for URLs, the source that we take right now is YouTube, but we also have the ability for you to drag and drop your own audio or video files. And you also can connect your Google Drive, Dropbox, Instagram, or OneDrive to be able to import your content into Alphana. So in this case, I'm going to go with YouTube to show you an example. And up here, what we have is what we call our template library. Now, templates are like workflows. We're saying like, hey, here's 10, 20, 30 different things I want you to do when I put in a video. Like, for example, summarize, marketing content. We've got one here to generate like ebook lead magnets. Like if you're trying to capture leads online, turn a video into lead magnets, right? We could generate short form clips. We've got a YouTube content workflow, LinkedIn ideas. So we have a bunch of different templates, right? The one that I'm going to select here, especially now, is for our YouTube content workflow. And I'm going to go ahead and hit generate. Now, by clicking on generate, what we're doing now in the background is we're going to take that video, we got to download it, and then we're going to start transcribing and generating all the content that's needed from it. And so up here, you get a progress bar. We've already transcribed it, and we started automatically now the generation process. And if I scroll on the left, it gives you a live status of everything that's being done in real time. And as soon as any one of these are ready, you'll see the generations happen live on the screen. And so I'll give it a second so you could see some of this content populate. Maybe start down here.
A real-time live demo. Let's see. We wait 2 minutes. No, this is perfect.
Yeah, they're always the always demos are tricky, right? But
So
w-
while they wait, is there possibility for us to create new outputs while it's processing new ones? So you put in the content and then you say, "Oh, I want to create another short form script." Could you create it while it's processing?
not while it's processing, because it's doing a lot of things in the background. Once it's processed, you can now start adding and creating your own. And so, because this one's taking a little bit longer, right? That we're pulling content and all that stuff. I'll show you one that's already there, so you can see what it looks like to create the content, right?
Perfect.
And so this is a video that we pulled, right? And so, it's like this 19-year-old cracked a 3-step code for YouTube virality. And if I scroll down, you'll see it automatically generated a YouTube description that you can post. We generate timestamp clips, clips from timestamps. And so in this case, we have a couple options. So, this pulled in 59 seconds of the video, and it gives you a title and a summary of what those clips are. Here it pulled in from like 10 minutes and 58 seconds to 12 minutes and 1 second, gives you that. But what's interesting, right? What you can do is you could actually enable captions. And today we only have one style for captions, but if you need it, this is where, you can enable it. And you can also download the video as vertical, square, or landscape. So if you're trying to do short form to post on like Instagram, YouTube Shorts, or TikTok, you can go ahead and grab the vertical version. Or landscape. Some people just want to use this to be able to find the best clips. And then if you're like a pro video editor, you just want to get the best clips and then, bring that into your software of choice and use it. And you can do that, right?
Yeah, create a video reel of different pieces of content.
Exactly. And this allows you to do that. And I'll show you more on how we can customize. But just to show you the wealth of content, on YouTube chapters are a best practice, right? You could copy and paste this into YouTube and it'll automatically hyperlink them to take you to those parts of the video. We take screenshots of the video, right? So we get you thumbnail options that you can pull if you wanted to grab from there. And we also generate AI images. So inspired by the video and the topics that were discussed, we'll generate a couple image options that you can use to post in your blog, if you're a newsletter or a social post, right? But what's great is we actually provide you the full caption and the prompt that we use to generate it. So if you want to make customizations to it, you could copy and paste this prompt, edit what you want, what you don't want, so you can get it more fine-tuned towards what you need.
Yes. Yeah, that saves the whole guesswork of it. I know there's other platforms, and even just in ChatGPT, if you're just using it, it's you've got to start from scratch, writing a
Yeah,
prompt, but you're sharing the prompts that are producing these results, and
right.
fine tuning is just the easier part of it. Uh, and yeah,
Exactly. And and what's great is because we're doing this automatically based on your videos, so it's pulling those topics, right? But you have access here to edit the prompt. I can actually come in here and delete this, and I can say, a dog riding a bike in Miami Beach, or I'll put a happy dog, like. And so what's cool is that all of these are what we call AI cards. You have edit access to all of them. And I could select whatever I want. I could select 4 images at a time. I want it to be, let's say, yeah, I'll leave it horizontal. You could do square and just click generate. And right now, while it's generating, we support Dolly 2 and we support Dolly 3. So default is Dolly 3. And, we're working on in the future to integrate like Midjourney and Stable Diffusion. But for now, everyone has access to Dolly 3, right?
wow. Yeah,
So
perfect.
while
What
that's
other what
generating, or go ahead.
What kind of feedback have you been getting from AppSumo on the language models? Are there other ones that have popped up that you're like, oh yeah, we need to have that on the platform?
Absolutely. The number one model that we've gotten requests for, I don't know what happened here, was for Claude 3.5. So, which is huge, and it's a beautiful model. And so we already communicated it. We already have it on our roadmap. It's something that's coming up next that we're planning to work on, our more model integration. So if you think about, for example, not just being able to add Claude, but also the ability to add your own API key. So like, for example, right now, all this is running based on GPT-4o. So it's fast. It's the latest model. It gives great results. But we can now we're working on for you to be able to put your own API keys, so you can run those through your own API, as well as adding Claude Sonnet 3.5. And in the future, again, our vision has always been to be LLM agnostic. We'll have a lot more models to choose from, but this is kind of our starting point.
Yeah, more personalization and yeah, I like that. And there's a
Yeah.
good point by Tiffany saying that AI images do not take into consideration black audiences or other audiences, so the images don't align, and we can't use the app. But at least
Mm,
you offer a chance to edit the prompt, so that she can change it, or other people can change it. So yeah, it goes. It. I love that
absolutely. Yeah.
personalization aspect of it. Oh, this is a good
And
question.
that's a great point.
What is the maximum file size for upload?
Yeah, actually, we actually upgraded this to 5 gigabytes. So everyone can upload up to 5 gigabyte files, video or audio, into our platform. They don't have to like go, into a different workflow, export, and try to get a smaller file size.
And you uploaded a video. Is audio and RSS feeds, can they be added into Afana as well?
Uh, Audio can be uploaded, but not RSS feeds yet.
Okay.
So the only integrations we have right now is Google Drive, Dropbox, Instagram, and OneDrive, and that's for import. So if you think about our roadmap, the other part that we're adding on our roadmap are webhooks, so that we can utilize that to be able to import from more sources automatically, as well as to be able to get your content out into multiple sources. Like if you want to connect that into like a make.com or Zapier, and then from there access thousands of more places to export. Those are things on our roadmap.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people always request is how can we connect it to Zapier or Make to support the rest of the workflow. This is
Yeah.
also another great question is how do I correct the transcription?
Yeah, it's a so today we don't allow you to edit the transcription. Not yet, but it is something on our roadmap. Something that so if you need the transcript to have modifications, it won't work today. But if you need the content to be generated using more accurate information, we have something called custom instructions. And here in the custom instructions, we have two areas. One is global, which means that every video that you upload, I want you to take these instructions into account. And so in my case, I put how I want it to write. I can put what language I want it to be spoken in. I put, write it in an eighth grade reading level so that it could be more accessible. So you could put details in there, but also like if you know that your name always gets spelled wrong, be like anytime, you hear XYZ name, it's actually this, right? And so you could put little tidbits of information of there of things that the model typically gets wrong in some of your videos, and you can add that into your instructions. And you can also do that in what we call app instructions, which is only applicable to this page. So you can put some instructions in here so that now when you go in to add new AI cards on the page, it will always take this into account, but only for this page.
Okay, and it will discount the global instructions.
Yeah, you can have that override. So, right now we have it enabled. It should override it, but I always recommend, go ahead and disable save to run that generation as well.
Perfect. That
Yeah.
was one of the questions that I wanted to ask, just exploring on it yesterday, what both of those, what the difference was. So thanks for covering that. And
Yeah.
this is another question by Brad. What languages do you support?
Yeah, so for languages, we actually have over 36 languages that we support for content that's input, um, like, from audio or video sources. And, I'll just pull that up on the window quickly. But we could send this to everybody and put that in the notes as well. But there's 36 languages that we support for audio and video, right? And this is just for the transcription. And then for content generation, right? So we have over 50 languages that we can generate content in. So, for example, if you create content in like, I don't know, French, and you want that, sorry, if your video is in French, but you want all the content to be written in Bulgarian or English or Arabic, you can do that.
That's powerful. No,
Yeah.
that's great. I
Yeah.
think George has just said rock star, so that's for you.
Thank you, George. Well, and yeah, and in this part, something that's also, we're looking at for future, right? So we don't dub videos yet into those languages. This is more about the content generation, right? And I say this because I don't want anyone to get misled when they jump in here. So the videos, if it's in one language, it will always be in that language, right? But these language options we have is to customize how the output of all the content, that's the text content that's being written. Those are the languages that will automatically get transcribed once you set those settings up.
We got a fantastic question from AppSumo.
All right.
What is the easiest or most effective way you've seen Alphana used to monetize or leverage content?
Yeah, I mean, thinking about both of those. Okay, let's talk about monetization for a second. I wish I had Alphana when I had an agency. I'll tell you that. It just would have made so many things so much easier, and would allowed us to have expanded and sold more products. Alphana you can't white label, but you can utilize it to be able to help your client and to help generate content for them. I mean, let's say you record videos and you provide those assets to your customer. You could literally now, instead of just providing them the video, drop the video in here, generate a bunch of content, and it's up to you. You could actually share this with them and share a public link that they can access that now gives them titles, descriptions, a newsletter, blog post. I mean, just think about all the incremental value you could provide to clients by using this. And if you don't want to share because you need something more white label, you can produce this and now put it together in a doc or schedule it on their social media, and you can charge a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 depending on your stage of your company as a recurring fee to now help others to be able to generate content while you're using Alphana to generate most of it for you.
Yeah, it's
Right.
that's what a lot of people should be doing.
Yeah. And And then to the second part of a great way to be able to leverage what you do in here is that even for clients or for your own workflows, you could customize everything in here. So, for example, right now I want a YouTube description, but let's say I always want to pull up, um, generate some viral hooks. I'm just going to add a card. And that's because we have an entire library of AI cards that you can customize and add to a page. Just like if you've ever built a website, it's almost like drag and drop these cards on a page and it automatically starts generating it for you. And so from here, from this one video, I've got 10 different unique hooks. And I'll start at the top, but so you can see, we've got the transformation hook. In 3 months, I grew my channel to 100,000 subscribers. Here's how I did it. I mean, you throw this as your X intro thread, and as long as you got the content to back it up, that's made to go viral, right?
Yeah.
Or like earnings hook. I made $21,000 last year by creating content. Here's my step-by-step guide. Or you don't need an expensive camera to succeed. Discover the secret behind this success. So if you're like, hey, every time I want to upload a video and I want it to generate these hooks in addition to this other content, you just drop that on the page, right? And another one is like, hey, I've got this long form video, but you know what? I want to create unique short form content. We have a short form video script that automatically bakes in a hook for you that literally all you need to do is read it, record it, and you can go ahead and post that on social media as well. And so you can take long form video and generate options for short form scripts that are made in a way to try to go viral on like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram. So, like here, this is why your YouTube channel isn't growing, right? Understanding video and audio alignment may seem small, but it's essential. Misalignment confuses viewers. Start by syncing. So, it goes in through the hook, the problem, it debunks myths, gives you a solution, gives you an action of what to do. And it's a good framework for using short form content.
And then is there a way to then edit the prompt and regenerate it?
Yep. So on any one of these, so for example, here, we provide prompts to all of these. So you get access to see what's in here. So in this case, you could see what our prompt looked like. And actually, it's a pretty long because we break out exactly what we want it to do. So if you're trying to learn how to write prompts, this is also a great way to be able to utilize. And if, like, for example, here, this thing's 120 words, I mean, you could change that to 200 words. and we want it extremely conversational, you could say, hey, I want this completely formal, right? It all depends on your audience. And so these are different things you can tailor and then you can generate. And if you don't want to generate a brand new one, we also have an option while that's generating to just regenerate the content. And this is important because AI, I'll never say this gets it right every time, right? It's AI. It's made. It's going to happen. It might not come out right the first time, but most likely, if you go ahead and tap regenerate, it usually gets it even better on the second try, and it also trains AI to know, like, hey, that first response wasn't what I wanted. The second one is the one that was what I wanted, right? And so we
Yeah.
built that in as well.
And with the ability to add more cards to this, would you call it space? Uh,
Yeah, you can call it I guess, a space to this project.
can we create our own AI cards
Definitely.
with our own instructions?
Yeah, so we can come in here and we have one called, we have two create your owns. Okay. One is just to create text content. And so we'll start with this one. Is there anything maybe you want to create? Or,
Oh, no.
all right,
Let,
give me 10 key takeaways
or
from
conversation
this
starters.
video and some conversation starters. I mean, we could just customize this. Um, and I'll just say, like, 12 words or less per takeaway. Let's just keep it concise, right? But you can create your own cards and you can add it to the page and you can even rename it. So I know we don't rename it yet right now, but we allow you to rename that manually. And so here we go, right? Top 10 key takeaways, very short. And then conversation starters, here you go. Right? What
Perfect.
is your unique angle? How do you balance education? And over here, you can rename, right? And call it, takeaways. And once you've saved that, you've renamed it, I can come over here now and just, drag and drop, reorder the cards on the page. All right. I can take title ideas and bring that all the way to the top as an example. Here it is. And once I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and save as template and call it, AppSumo's template, just to get that in there and click save. Why this is important is because we just finished customizing a few things in this workflow. And guess what? I want to use this 100 more times. So when I go ahead and click create, it now appears right here in my list of templates. And I can now
Wow.
recreate it exactly with all my prompts, all my customizations, the way that I wanted it to. Just copy and paste your link or your video, and you'll generate everything for you.
Powerful. Yeah, so there's
Yeah,
the set templates that you've created to help us get started, and then you can create your own templates based on your own needs. I really like that. Plus, I
yeah,
also love that wizard at the start that guides you through for complete newbies. So thanks for doing that because some of the other companies don't they miss that and then you don't know how to use it.
definitely. And we're gonna make it even better too.
Awesome. Let's see if there's any other questions. Here we go. How can you use Afana for one-to-one sales content that sales teams can use in their conversations?
Yeah, that's a great one. So there's a couple of things you can use for one-on-one sales conversations. So some that I've seen with sales, what they do is, like, for example, let's say you're working with a client in a specific industry and there's a video, a popular video that's going around. You can grab that YouTube link and put it in here and be like, hey, you know what? Let's do something like an email. You can try to generate a promotional email sequence that takes tidbits and insights from what's going on in your industry so you can provide value now to your prospects, as an example, right? So we got, sorry, promotion. We have a nurture email sequence. You could also generate an email recap. Like, let's say you just got off a call with a customer and you're not using one of these recording softwares, or you don't like the way their summaries come out, right? You can now create your own and edit the prompt in here for how you want your email recaps every time you had either a call or maybe you shot a webinar for your company or a live, and now you want to generate content so you can provide that to your prospects on a one-to-one basis. I'll let that run. The second one, which I don't know what's going on there. hold on, I want to show you is something what we call ebook ideas. Um, and so we have a template that allows you to generate a couple ideas for an ebook, but we actually also provide a draft that you can use. And so what I've seen people do as well, and you can do this in sales or you can do this for marketing lead gen, is you can copy and paste this ebook that's generated from this video. So it was content and that was inspired by the video, but it took those topics and put it into something more actionable, and go ahead and put that into a PDF. And now you have a PDF that you could share with your prospects, right? All from content that's generated in Alphana. So those are just some of the ways. I'm sure we can come up with dozens more.
Yeah, there's lots of use cases. Are there any common use cases that have that you've come across before coming to AppSumo, and then what kind of use cases have been proposed uh, with this AppSumo campaign?
Yeah, definitely. I've seen I've seen, for example, like some short form creators who do content, let's say on Instagram or TikTok, and they never thought about writing content, right? They never thought about using Twitter or X or LinkedIn to be able to put stuff out, because all their videos were like 45 seconds, 60 seconds long. And they loved it because what they do is they grab their phone and they just record in the car, and they're quickly on the spot, right? There's some people who are just not great writers. They're just great on camera. They could just shoot a quick video and roll with it, right? And he's a coach, and he does coaching for a lot of their clients. And so one of the things that they use our platform for was to be able to take that video and to be able to create like Twitter threads and LinkedIn posts, right? And they never knew. They took this 45-second clip of a topic that he just literally got into his car and had this idea, recorded it, and then it turned it into a series of content that he can use. He never thought he can do that. So we've seen one in that aspect. Others that I've seen, like another one is, for example, like if you're educators or teachers, or if you're your own company and you create courses to provide value for your customers, you can create quizzes with Alphana. And so we just rolled this out. We actually had an idea from somebody from AppSumo who loves our product and was like, wow, it would be so cool if we could have a quiz. And literally within minutes, I deployed this, and like we generate multiple choice quizzes and also provide the answers at the end. This is great if you want to quiz yourself as well. True or false, and fill in the blank. So another use case from this standpoint, and the last one that I'll show you comes down to video. And let me open up this one. This is the one that we did earlier. I completely forgot to come back to the tab, by the way. But all the content generated. This was the demo that we did.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
So we got a couple clips. And by the way, just earlier this week, we released 1080 HD from YouTube. Before, we were only able to get up to 720. Now we've got up to 1080. So we're pulling HD from YouTube now. But let's say with these clips, I want to generate my own. Some people are like, hey, you could actually use natural language to find clips that you want to use from the video. So it's like, find 3 top highlight clips from this video, especially when talking about energy and future of AI, right? I am just making up an example. And so a couple things you can do. You could do stuff like this. You could select whether you want it vertical, square, landscape, like I showed you earlier. If you want to get timestamp chapters, you can do that, and we'll import them for you, so you don't have to leave the screen to get those chapters. And that's great if you want to like generate a video for every timestamp in the chapter individually, right? Which I have one client who likes to do that. They'll get chapters, they'll pick 5 of those chapters, and they'll push them out on like LinkedIn, and then from there lead them to go watch the full video on like YouTube or their channel, right? But because we use natural language, you could write what you want. And so here it now pulls up clips that it found, right? So this is talking about Llama 3, which is AI, and you can read through these as an example. So I don't know if that helps on use cases, or if there's other use cases others are thinking I can help tailor to those as well.
Yeah, let's go to the audience and just please write down any use cases or ways that you think you will be using Alphana in the future. or if you've already bought it on AppSumo, how you're using it. We'd love to know. And then if you're a Plus member, we'll be featuring these use cases inside where the replay is going to be hosted. So please drop your use cases below, and we'll get you featured inside the source. We got a great question by Dr. Fay. You mentioned that editing the transcript is on the roadmap. Yeah, let's talk about the roadmap. What was the last feature you implemented or updated, and what time frame can we expect for new features, and then also for that edit feature?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a good question. It's hard to put exact timelines on a few things, but a couple things that we worked on recently was we added support now for HD video from YouTube. That was actually a big project. It wasn't just a simple call because there's not an official API for YouTube. There's a lot of things you got to do on the back end to be able to utilize that. That was important because a lot of people use YouTube and they want high quality content to be able to put out. We've worked on a lot of stability aspects of things. We worked hard on our infrastructure to support up to 5 GB video and audio uploads. So again, more ways for you to be able to bring your content in here easily. We've rolled out several templates and AI cards, things from like quizzes to hooks to titles to long form video scripts to several others that we've added in there. What else have we done recently on the videos? So let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we're doing for the future, right? So for example, I think you said it was time. Just make sure I'm talking about the right feature. The
Yes.
editing the transcript on the roadmap. Yeah, so editing the transcript is on our roadmap, and definitely by the end of the quarter is when we'll have that one rolled out. And the reason I say behind the end of the quarter is because what do you call it? The reason I say it's behind the quarter is because right now we have a couple features that are highly requested from everyone else that so far we've prioritized, and we give everybody access to see that roadmap and to be able to vote for the features that they want, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the ones that we're working on first is on webhooks integration so that you can be able to import content and to be able to get content out in more places. I talked about earlier, bringing your own API key so that you can use that for your LLM usage. And another very highly requested one was for us to be able to automatically reframe the videos when putting it into vertical form. So for example, today, if right now if it's just me talking, it works great because I can clip you vertically. But today, if there's 3 or 4 speakers, we can't automatically relay out everything just like what you're doing on the screen here. We don't have support for it yet because we haven't worked on that. So, between these 3 features are the priority ones, right? We want that if you have a video with multiple speakers, it'll automatically shift the layouts and it'll give you customization options to be able to reposition how you want them on the screen so that you can get a vertical video for it. And it's because we first wanted to make sure we got really good clips, right? And the feedback that we get with a lot of people is they're like, wow, I've used other products that do amazing captions and videos and they can relay out on the screen. They give me all the options I need, but I hate the videos that it picks and it always cuts off in the middle of a word and I can't use them, right? So we focused on that first. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people then can easily click download. They drop it into like a captions app and it puts captions or repositions. Fantastic. But eventually we want to automate that whole workflow so that it's already done from Alphana so that you can get that to your social platforms.
Yeah. Will you be bringing in an editor so that we can then edit the clips and get really close and change the captions and where the captions lie on the video? Will you
Yeah.
bringing out something like that?
Yeah, so our designs are already like we've already got UX mostly there for this that we've been working on how you can edit the clips, edit the transcript to be able to create more clips. We've got multiple aspects that are there. Even today, for example, I've taught this to a few users. We can actually copy and paste parts of the transcript. It's a little manual, but you copy and paste, and in that text box that I showed you for clips, you can go in there and just type like, hey, create a clip from the beginning and end of this time of this clip. You don't have to clean up the transcript. Just copy and paste the part that you want. And we provide you the transcript too. So you don't have to leave Alphana to do it. You could just go to the transcript, highlight the piece you want, paste it into the box, and it will let you now generate a clip based on that timestamp.
Jeez, no, that's impressive, and I can't wait to see what else you bring out. Uh, I know you have a public roadmap, so we'll be sending that link into the source community. That's where all the Plus members live. I think we've probably got time for maybe one or two more questions, and then if you have anything last thing that you want to share with us, Sebastian, to help people get started with Alphana, please do share that while we pull up some other questions.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the biggest thing I recommend is obviously give Alphana a try. You can dive in. We have a free trial on our site. We've got a great deal with AppSumo. Our lifetime deal starts at $49. You know, sign up, add your videos, try to rearrange the content, edit the cards, the prompts, and see how flexible it is and see what happens. And the second suggestion is that use that regenerate button. If you don't like it on the first try, once everything is done, just click regenerate to give it a chance to see. This happens on any AI platform. The first output, mostly we get it right. I'll tell you that, but I am very upfront that sometimes you need to do that, and you'll see some great results. We're seeing a lot of people who are enjoying it, and then also just keep up with what we don't have, and if you know what we don't have, and it's okay. I'm sure you're going to see value on it because it is on our roadmap, and I think that's what's important with it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I'm glad that you've got a public roadmap as well, because everybody always asks about that. Let's give us some questions, and then I'm going to go to AppSumo and show off the deal, and we'll just go through some of the tiers and maybe answer some of the questions on there. But do card outputs depend on previous cards or only the primary reference file?
Today, it's only the primary reference file, so the other cards won't affect the output of the card that you have on there. So we do all of these calls separately, individually, so that we can do them simultaneously.
Perfect. Does regenerate use up more AI credits?
Yeah, regenerating will use up more AI credits, but we've baked in enough credits depending on the number of hours of video with the notion that you might regenerate. So we tried to incorporate enough AI credits for the amount of content that you're uploading. We really don't anticipate seeing people uh, we really don't see most people needing to be able to upgrade from credits. I think the place that we're really going to see is how much content you're uploading or grabbing from YouTube, right? Because if you pull from YouTube or upload, the number of hours is really going to impact, and that's what we're seeing so far with others.
Okay. Do we get the yeah other? Sorry,
Ability
sure.
to
Do we get the ability to refine where cuts are made? Okay, that was already answered, but we can go over that again just briefly.
Yeah, just quickly, like if you don't like the edits that it made from the timestamps, because we show you the timestamp that we used, you could copy and paste that, and in the text box, add the clips from timestamps card, and just edit the timestamp yourself, and then add it, and it'll generate those clips for you. So again, if you don't like it, you can go ahead and use it, edit the timestamp.
Awesome. And then so you can go back into transcript, copy the transcript, and it will create a clip based on what you've copied, which is really cool. And then there's also going to be an editor that comes to the platform where you can edit the content more, which is even cooler. And then Dr. Fay, can you talk about how much a credit is worth? No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have an exact value of what each credit. I could tell you exactly how credits are used. I wrote an entire article that broke it out because this was a very heavy question. So I tried to get as detailed as I can. We can shoot that over to everyone as well. But essentially, everything that uses credits are like, for example, all the words that are generated on the page, the transcript that gets generated, us querying that transcript, like everything that utilizes AI will eat up credits. It's because it's a usage type piece on the product. And so we do break out, like for example, video clips generating for every minute of video that is exported, that's about 3 credits, right? And so we break that out like for extracting thumbnails, creating AI images, transcription minutes, how many input like words versus output words, so that you could see what that looks like. And I'm happy to walk anybody through privately. If you shoot me a message, I'd be happy to as well.
Perfect. Let's go over the deal. I know we've kind of covered this, but with the $49, you get 500 AI credits. And like Sebastian said, that is plenty. Just depends on how much content you want to upload per month. So this goes 2 hours, 5 hours, 15 hours. And then you've got a tier 4, which is 45 hours worth of content, which is plenty. But do you have any other comments on the deal, Sebastian?
Yeah, I think you know, with the deal, I think just everybody knows, like, this is a lifetime license, but we have a ton of updates that we're going to continuously make. So I don't think about this deal as like a one-time deal, one-time license, one-time update. It makes no sense. The majority of features that we're building, right, you're still going to have access to from a lifetime perspective. So not only think about how many hours of video you're going to do today, you've also got to think about in the future, because I think what people are seeing is they don't realize how much video they could really use, because you could drop a YouTube link just to summarize the content. If you're just trying to know if you want to go watch that 2 hour video, you could use it to generate more content. You might want to, find 10 different videos and find the one that you really want to use to generate what you're trying to do. So I would really encourage you to take a look at the tiers and the number of hours of video, because this is a once in a lifetime type of thing, because we're not in the nature of doing one-time deals. We love the partnership with AppSumo and the community, and I love every one of them. I answer to every request that comes in on either AppSumo or in our chat, and we're going to continue doing it. But I really can see people really taking advantage of like tier 2, tier 3, because we have a lot more updates that are going to come in the future, and improvements that you are going to love.
Yeah, I agree. There's been some fantastic deals on AppSumo, and I'm a little bit biased, but I've been there are a lot. You will miss out on some incredible deals. So if you see that this is going to work well in your workflow, remember you can give it a go for 60 days. Whatever tier, you can always get a refund within that 60-day window. But yeah, this is a great deal, and like Sebastian is inside the source as well. So if you have further questions for him, you can get those questions answered in there. And then he's also available on, was it LinkedIn and X?
Yeah, we're on LinkedIn, we're on X. You can reach me, Sebastian Mora, Mourra, like at Sebastian Mora on X or on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Okay, so I think that wraps up. Thanks for everybody's questions today. It was really enjoyable, and thanks for joining me, Sebastian. And thanks, Jordan, behind the scenes, for following up the questions and supporting me with production. It all helps. Thanks to everybody who's commented and asked questions. This replay will be put inside the source, and we will be using Alphana to create some content for you. So watch out for that. And if you, once this live stream ends, if you have other questions, just add them in on the AppSumo YouTube channel so we can get them answered by Sebastian as well. But thanks all for joining, and we'll see you at the next Meet the Founders. Ask Me Anything.